Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO retrospective podcast, where we talk about all things 3DO, the company, and everything in between. I'm Bill, Mrs. Thrack. How you doing, Thrack?
I'm fucking sore. How are you?
My tooth still hurts, but that's just how it is.
Did you
Yeah, I'm
get your
tired.
little did you get your little surgery thing?
I got my appointment. It's not till next month,
Oh, okay.
so gotta wait for that. It's not like in searing pain anymore. Now it's just kind of annoying pain. So
I know what you mean.
yeah, it's funny. I went and got my prescription for antibiotics, and then like the second after I got it, the pain went away. I was like, great.
Oh, there you go.
So
Could have been
now I
worse,
just
I guess.
yeah. Now I just have some drugs on my counter that I don't know what to do with.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Take them. That's what you do.
they told me not to take them if I don't need them, and I'm not in pain. So
Yeah, fair enough. If you don't want to get addicted to prescription drugs.
not really.
Hmm.
Frankly, not that much.
That's okay. I mean, when I got my wisdom teeth removed, they gave me the giant ibuprofens,
Mhm.
the massive horse pill ones. I still have them because I didn't use them all. And then they gave me, I forget what it was. I forget. It was like an opiate or something. I never bothered taking it. And I've always had this thought where it's like, say I had a week off from work and I'm like, oh, on the first day, let me just take one, see what happens. I have yet to do that though,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
just because I'm like, well, I have all this free time. So,
Yeah, I had performed surgery on an original Xbox over the weekend. That was fun
yeah, I saw that. Um,
because my original one, the disk drive completely shit the bed on me, and I was like, great. So I went to this retro store and they had two OG Xboxes sitting there, and they were like $60 a piece, and I was like, that's really good for an original Xbox. So
where they're
grabbed
like,
them.
oh, they don't work.
No, they said both of them worked, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm like, did you guys open them up and pull out the capacitor? And the guy's like, no, probably not. And I'm like, okay, gonna have to check that. So,
To be fair, it's super easy to do.
oh yeah, I did. Well, it's super easy if you're good at taking apart stuff, because I'm not gonna lie, taking apart an original Xbox is kind of a pain in the ass. But
Yeah, the only thing that sucks about it is you have to take you literally like the board is on the bottom, so you have to take the cover off, take off the disk drive, take out the hard drive, all that crap.
yeah,
You gotta do the whole nine. Which if you just follow a YouTube video, you'll be fine.
it's not hard. It's just kind of a pain. It's very much it's the
It's
original
tedious.
Xbox. Yeah, it is very much a PC on the inside. So,
Oh yeah,
but so I ended up getting it, and I opened it up, and I was like, this thing is fucking disgusting. Like it was
yes,
so
mine
so
was
much
too.
so much dust, and I was just like, I looked at the back, and it was a 2003 model. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this thing's definitely got bad capacitors. So I'm sitting here, and I had never actually checked what year my original one was. So I happened to go upstairs and just pull it out, and I looked at the back, and it's 2005. I'm like, this is one of the good ones. I'm like, I can't throw this away. So
Can you replace the disk drive?
that's what I found out. So what I did was because I opened it up and there was two bulging capacitors in there, and the ironically the clock one didn't bulge, which was weird.
Well, I know starting sometime in like '03, if your capacitor, yeah, if it's past a certain firmware or if it's like it has like gold around it, you're
Mhm.
good. You're fine. You don't have to worry about it. So
I know the two.
I think my Xbox is like 2001, I think. Like the firmware on it was super old. So when I took it out, I found it and they all said like, well, desoldering is the cleaner way to do it, but I don't know how to desolder.
So you
So I
just rip it
just
out.
ripped
Yeah,
it, but then I cleaned it up and through the compressed air and 'cause it was fucking dirty as shit. Because I bought mine off Macari,
Mhm.
so like I got a deal on it, but it was in very rough shape. But I've cleaned it up and given it some love. So and that's the thing where this drive works, the hard drive works, like everything works perfectly fine. The only weird thing is, um, the disk drive needs a disk in it to work. Like if you don't have a disk in it, it won't eject,
Hmm.
which doesn't make any sense to me. To be fair, he put that in the description. He's like, as long as you have a disk in it and you're fine. And I tested it, and for some reason, it'll try to open, it'll get jammed if there's no disk in it.
That sounds a lot like what mine was doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
where the belt would slip. I don't know what the disc being in it has to do with that, but
I don't know either, but to be fair, the only times I've had discs not in it is when it wouldn't open.
Hmm.
So I don't know. So just to be safe, I just keep a disc in it and I don't worry about it.
what was
So,
kind of
not a big
crazy
deal.
though, it's kind of funny. What was crazy though is like I opened it because I had never opened my original one, the 2005 one I had, and that thing I got at a flea market. So I had terrors of what was in this thing
Yeah.
because I'd never opened it up, I'd never cleaned it. I opened it up, it was mint inside. I was like, what the hell? Like this thing is like clean as can be.
Well,
So
you
I
took
was,
good care of it.
I guess. I mean, I do have it in like a case, so it's not like out in the open. But
Mhm.
I was sure because this thing was a flea market Xbox. I had been at flea markets for a while. Um, but yeah, so like once I realized that the thing was like I couldn't get rid of the original one, I just like I Googled, I'm like, are the disk drives interchangeable? And it's like they're not the same, but you can swap them. So I was like, all right, might as well try. So I took the disk drive out of the disgusting one, cleaned it up, stuck it in the new one, closed it back together, booted it up, worked like a charm. I was like, hell yeah.
So you got a nice minty one now.
Yeah. And I also have a gross one for parts that I'm gonna just hold on to for now.
There you go. So I bought a extra S controller because the S controller it came with. Let me see if I can grab it. Like it's perfectly fine, but like the sticks are like fucking awful. I don't know if you can see them, but they're like kind
Yeah.
of chewed on the side and like they drift just a little bit. So I bought another one and it works perfectly fine, no problem. But for some reason, I think where the wire goes into the controller is loose. So more often than not, it'll say like, "Oh, your controller disconnected." And I like opened the thing up and tried to like reset it and make it tighter, but it's not working. So I just fucking deal with it, which it's more of a nuisance than anything else. But I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe I should ask that OG Xbox Reddit. Maybe they know something.
Yeah. That was the one upside to getting another OG Xbox. I now have two S controllers and a Duke.
Oh yeah, I got my Duke right here. And that's the thing. The Duke works perfectly fine. Like I bought this in a store for like 25 bucks. Perfect. Like it's minty. Like it feels like it was barely ever used.
It probably wasn't because not a lot of people liked the Duke back in the day.
I get it. Like I don't
Well,
hate that. I don't hate that controller, but now that I've put more time in the S, I prefer the S.
well, it's because it's a proto 360 controller, basically.
Yeah, it's not as good as that though.
Well, no, they perfected it. Like I still get thrown off by the fact that the OG Xbox controller doesn't have bumpers. Like that still
Yeah,
throws me off a lot.
yeah, the black and white buttons are I'm not a fan of them at all. Like even on like I think the placement of them is better on the Duke. Like having them at the top as opposed to off weirdly to the side. Same with like start and back. Like
Yeah,
I hate where they sit on the S. They're just way too out of the way for me. But everything else is fine. Like the D-pad's fine, I guess. Sticks are fine. Buttons feel good. The triggers I like. The back triggers are really nice.
it reminds me a lot of the Dreamcast controller in a lot of ways, which is interesting because Sega and
It has the
Microsoft,
memory card slots.
yeah, that are I'm pretty sure I've never seen an original Xbox memory card.
Neither have I. Me either. Sorry.
Which is insane because
I'm sure they're dirt cheap though.
probably it's funny because I've seen Xbox 360 memory cards, but I've never seen an original Xbox memory card.
Let me see. Okay, there's the first one I see on eBay. It's $18 for an OEM one.
I might buy one just to have one. But
I've thought about it. They're a little more expensive than I expected, but not terrible.
yeah,
I mean, this is a guy who spent a lot of money on that Seagate 2 terabyte expansion for his Series X. So, yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned Sega because must play over here. The combo, but the game because I have my Xbox plugged into that old CRT, so that's what I've been testing stuff on. And the game I've been playing is Star Wars Battlefront, just because it's I'm getting a bit of that nostalgia wave playing it on an old ass TV. I'm like, oh, I remember this. And the thing is, I remember I played the PS2 version, so I remember those load times being awful. But on
Mhm.
Xbox, they are fucking seamless. It's great.
Yeah, it is very amazing actually, kind of like playing Xbox stuff now and just realizing, holy shit, like this thing was really ahead of its time.
Oh yeah, the hard drive was really nice, and a lot of games. I think probably why they look and run best on here is because they're probably offloading stuff into the hard drive,
Probably.
so things could run better. So there are some games where I've noticed like the load times are a little bit longer, but you end up with like more seamless gameplay when you get to it. But then there are some games that load like pretty quick, especially
Yeah.
for games from this era. So
Speaking of load times and games you've been playing recently, you guys have been enjoying the hell out of Sonic 06 over on the Game Club.
yes, I have a physical, not a family platinum hits copy because
I
those
have
are
a
more available. This is a genuine like first label print run or whatever the fuck they say. I don't know.
I have a platinum hits version because I couldn't be
I do
bothered.
not. And it's got the manual in it.
The manual that has the list of power-ups for Knuckles that aren't in the fucking game.
Oh, that's true. And it's a black and white manual, which is sad.
Yeah.
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 It's I mean the manual's okay. It could be worse.
My favorite part of
Like
all you
the game
guys
concept thing, like that's like funny.
yeah,
Downstage mission bullshit. Like that doesn't make any sense.
see
Yeah, all the power up items, objects, pause menu. I mean, there's that nice, looking at Soliana or whatever the fuck.
the most lifeless city.
Soliana. No, it
Soliana.
ain't lifeless. There's life in there, man.
Yeah,
You
there's
got
a
guys. You got guys going, hey, and that
and
dude
they
who looks like Mario, and he's like, "Brr," like when you
playing
talk to him.
playing the accordion.
Yeah,
What
it's
about
just like the game is so butt ugly, dude. Oh my god.
they look worse than Sims characters. Like it is
But what's weird is like the first guy at the shop, like when you buy the light chip, like
you know
that
the
guy looks
low
fine.
the one black guy in the game.
He looks fine. Like his character model wasn't bad.
Well, he was actually designed. The rest of them are
Yeah,
all randomly generated.
they look like PS1 models. It's awful.
My favorite part about you guys playing that is like I'm just sitting here like you guys are all talking about your grievances. I'm just like vicariously laughing in the background, like, yes, they're experiencing the wonders.
Awful. But I have a nice clean copy that I paid too much money for. But
I
I don't
totally
care. I don't care.
I totally
But
called it. I'm like, Crisis City is going to be the run ender. And then you were like, fuck Crisis City, I'm done.
I see. I was doing fine until I got to the Mach speed section because then I learned, oh, in that if you jump, whatever direction you're going
fucked.
is the direction you're going. So I flew off that thing so much, and I would try to use the light chip to hang with the rings, but of course I would just naturally get hit. I did get past it. I did. But then I got to the volcano section and
Flame core, yeah.
the fucking like they give you like the two speed panels that go on the wall and like one of them just doesn't fucking
They
work,
don't work
and the
at
other
all.
one barely works. It's God, man. Like I gamed over on it and I was like, fuck this. So I'm also playing Doom 2016. Because last week a couple days ago they had the Xbox showcase and it was a very good show, I think. Doom the Dark Ages looked really, really fucking cool. And I'm like, well, I haven't played those two yet. It's 2016 and Eternal. So I have them both now. So I'm working a bit on 2016. It is a very, very good game. So it's not as crazy fast paced as I expected, but it is still very, very good. So a lot of glory kills. So I'm having a good time with Doom.
I'll give you one hint for 06 for when you get to it. Eventually, when you get back to the Soliana town, you can go back to the store and the guy will sell you these gems. And these gems give you different shoe powers because you did that mission early in the game to get the special shoes.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are pretty much useless, except for the red gem and the purple gem. The red gem, most people think does nothing. It actually slows down time.
So it makes the game playable?
No, so it doesn't slow Sonic down at all, but it slows everything around you down.
See, the problem is Sonic moves way too fucking fast.
The reason I bring it up is there's some timed missions later on that it makes
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
trivial because it slows down the timer. And the best part is Sega forgot to program in the fucking meter in the corner, so they just unlimited.
I like it.
And then the purple gem lets you, it shrinks Sonic down really tiny, makes him run really fast, but it also lets you jump infinitely. Probably wasn't supposed to do that, but that's what it does.
Probably not. Most of this game, when something weird happens, I'm like, yeah, there's no way that
The,
this was
the
meant to be like it's so weird. The game, I think it has testers in the credits, but they probably weren't able to do much. Like I think
so I
I
believe
think I think the story with this game is that they rushed it out because they wanted to have the big next gen Sonic game, and this was meant to be like the reboot for it, and it was what, the 15th anniversary, I believe.
yeah.
So they were trying to
You know
get
what
ahead
other
of
game came out on the 15th anniversary?
Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis on the GBA.
Yep, and Sonic Riders and Sonic Rivals.
Yeah,
What a great anniversary.
a lot of fucking games in that era. So and this was sort of meant to be the crown jewel, and it just and yeah, they rushed it out. So because when the fuck they started working on this, 2005.
Maybe, who knows?
Let's see. Apparently, they started working on it after they finished Billy Hatcher, that came out in 03.
So a different team must. That's right, because Billy Hatcher was made by Sonic Team Japan.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Sonic games that were coming out at that time were made by Sega Studio USA. So it was a different team. That makes sense because I was trying to think if it started then, who made Shadow? And I was right. It was the USA version of Sonic Team.
Let's see. Development began in late 2004. So yeah, and the reason they called it the same as Sonic the Hedgehog was to be a major advance from the previous games. So people think it was a reboot. Oh, and it's in the Havoc engine. That's right.
The fun fact about the game, not only does it use Havoc, it uses Havoc on fucking everything in the game. That's why it
Oh
runs
yeah.
that's why it runs like absolute shit because the Havoc
It's
engine's trying to use everything.
yeah, like this game, it's just so fucking weird. Like, and it doesn't even look good. Like, it looks gross. You know what I mean?
The demo looked better.
But even that is just like the color palettes that they choose are not great. Like Sonic is like his blue is just weirdly bad. Like the CGI cutscenes don't even look that good. Like the whole game just has this ugly, realistic look to it, but it just doesn't. But it completely clashes with the standard Sonic characters that we know. Like the whole thing is just fucking
Well,
wrong. It was clearly them trying to make the gritty reboot for Sonic, and it just was not the way to go.
they made all the characters like super realistic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean all the human characters, but then you got the Sonic characters running around. They look like giant mascots running around everywhere.
Yeah, seriously. They look like they're like, we're in like, King's Island or some shit. Like it's ridiculous, man.
Yep.
Eh,
There's so many things about this game. We could honestly do a whole podcast on it at some point. But
Well, apparently Yuji Naka was involved in it, but then he left after a while to form his own company.
this is the game that made him quit. Our favorite convicted felon, Yuji Naka. Yes.
Fuck,
Never
what did he
gets
get
old.
sentenced to do? Didn't he just get probation?
I forget, honestly. I know it was so
Yeah.
fucking stupid.
Yeah, but like, yeah, so they were working on that, and then the team that was working on it split in half. So like the other half went to do Sonic and the Secret Rings.
An
Like, what the
arguably worse game.
For real? Like, what the fucking hell? Yeah,
Hey,
and it
got
took
an
them.
amazing soundtrack. Got an
Yeah,
amazing
it's
soundtrack.
not even like one of the better ones, to be honest.
I don't know. That's a debate. That's a good debatable
Yeah,
topic.
I don't know. Basically, as I'm playing this game, I'm just clamoring for Unleashed so fucking bad because Unleashed is so much better. Like, I feel like I may need to play Unleashed when I finish this just to wash the taste out of my mouth because it is an absolute fucking dumpster fire. It is fucking crazy, awful, but it's an absolute must play. Like,
Well, it's amazing because it never gets it. There's always something new.
yeah, and it's and I'd still tell everybody like you need to play this game. Like you need to. Like it's kind of a requirement just to know because it's legendarily bad, but you don't know how bad it really is unless you sit down and play it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's an entertaining bad. Like I'm having a fucking fun time, even though it's like fuck this bullshit. But it's fucking entertaining. You know what I mean? Like it's not dull at all. So
I unironically kind of like the game just because of how fucking insane it is.
yeah, any love I have for it would be ironic. No irony from here. Like you know me, I defend Sonic a lot. I don't know if I can with this one. I've tried before, but I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
I just love how fucking unhinged this game is. Like,
And yet Famitsu gave it a 30 out of 40.
yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, I remember all those fucking reviewers like were like, "Oh my god, Secret Rings is so much better." I'm like, "No, it's not." I'm
No,
like,
I'd rather play this.
Yeah, Secret Rings. At least this is playable, even if the controls are a fucking nightmare. Secret Rings is like you're at the mercy of the fucking Wiimote the entire time.
Yeah, like its Metacritic is a 46. And I think that's right. That feels right to me.
Yeah. Ironically, they rated Black Knight lower, and I think Black Knight is a much better game.
Yeah, I don't like Black Knight much either, but they did fix
least
a lot of the issues with Secret Rings.
At least it's playable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Play Magazine gave this an 85. Who the fuck is Play Magazine?
I don't know.
But they gave Hurdy Gurdy a 100. Do you know Hurdy Gurdy?
Yeah, it's one of Core's non-Tomb Raider games.
Yeah. My one of my work buddies, that was his PS2 game. That was like the PS2 game he played the most. So he's told me all I need to know about that game.
Fun.
Oh yeah, a nightmare.
But yeah, so anyways, this is a 3DO podcast. We should probably move on to our topic for this episode.
I think they'd rather us to talk about Sonic.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Some people really don't like Sonic.
Fuck them. They're dumbasses.
True.
Too bad.
They're
either pieces of shit or they're contrarian dicks.
Or they've never played a Sonic game in their life.
That, yeah, or all the above. Or they're just a special case, like say our good buddy Burger Champ, who, you know. To be fair, I know he has given them a fair shake.
He has like the history to like at least back it up.
Yeah, like he said he played them when they were like fresh, like even the Genesis ones, and he just said they didn't click with him.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like Burger's opinions, like he doesn't fucking care what people think. He's not trying to say a specific opinion to get like engagement or clicks. Like he's not really a social media guy. Like his opinion is genuinely his opinion on something.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between saying I don't like this because it didn't click with me versus Sonic was never good.
Yeah, though I think he leans into that just to piss people off, you know.
Well, I mean, if you're doing it just as a joke, that's different than actually believing that, which some people seriously do.
Exactly. But yeah, those people are weird. But yeah, so after this, I'm probably gonna have to. Well, playing Doom is a nice refresher, so I can, you know, blow the heads off some demons. And then I'll probably have to end up playing Unleashed.
And then you can play Colors, and then Generations.
I've played Colors already.
Well, if you're going down the list, though, you play Unleashed, then you play Colors, and then Generations, Sonic X Shadow, whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh yeah,
you can replay that.
See, I'm with that game. I'm gonna try to get Dre from Fine Time and Chris from A Novel Console. I'm gonna try to get those two to collab with me together on that game. Because I don't know why. I feel because those two don't know each other, but I feel like if they did, I feel like they'd become friends.
I'm amazed they don't, because they're in like similar circles. They just probably don't.
And they have similar opinions. And they're both kind of old. Well, I think Dre's older, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get them both, and the three of us will talk about Shadow Generations or whatever, because you know I'm playing it.
Sonic X Shadow, the most risky Google search you'll ever have.
Yeah, and somebody asked Sega like, oh, what they were like, oh, are you guys going to keep remastering old Sonic titles? And they're like, yeah, maybe. They need to do Heroes. Like Heroes is the one that I think needs it.
I think Heroes with a better engine would actually be a really good game.
And it's not available outside of like the standard PS2, Xbox, GameCube. Like it never got a port ever. I don't even think it's on Steam.
It was on PC, but it never got brought to Steam.
Yeah, so that game, give that game a glow up. It's not bad. Like Adventure 1 and 2, if you do that, you kind of need to remake them. You know,
Adventure 1, yeah.
1 and 2, like they both need the glow up, I think. Whereas Heroes, I think if you just clean Heroes up, you know, maybe put in a new engine, I think it would translate better as like a nice remaster.
Yeah, honestly. Hey, some people want Shadow remastered.
Fuck it, why not?
That game's a comedy. I don't care what anyone says.
It's really expensive. I don't know. I don't know why that game is so pricey.
I am Shadow the Hedgehog. This is who I don't know. But anyway,
Steve Jobs died of Ligma. Who the hell is Steve Jobs? Ligma balls. Shout out to Jet. What a great YouTuber. Love him. So
going on to our topic now before this just becomes the Sonic podcast.
I mean, I'm here. It already is.
I know. So for our topic for this episode, we decided because the game we're playing for 3DO this next is a bit on the longer side, we decided to do another filler episode. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Well, I haven't touched it yet. I've been kind of busy.
I mean, same to be honest.
But, well, also I didn't mention that I have a job interview the day that this comes up. So
oh, nice.
Maybe I'll actually get something. Who knows? Last one didn't go too well, so maybe this one will be better. Anyways,
hoping for the best. But yeah. So like we've done with our previous episodes, we're doing another developer showcase because the 3DO had a few developers that were pretty key to its early years. Previously, we've talked about EA and we've talked about Crystal Dynamics. This time, we're going to talk about a company that kind of gets overshadowed, at least for their early years. Nowadays, they're kind of a household name. And that studio is Toys for Bob.
Toys for Bob. To me, it feels like they were a dev team that didn't really get any sort of recognition or notoriety until like maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 years ago.
Ironically, creating a game that was incredibly polarizing at the time it came out.
Oh, yes. But we'll get to that.
So, a little backstory on Toys for Bob. They're actually a lot older than you'd think. They were founded in 1989, 35 years ago, by Paul Reich III and Fred Ford. And I didn't know this, but they were actually owned by Crystal Dynamics from 1993 to 2000.
It kind of makes sense because their early gameography is closely tied to Crystal.
And I was reading into it. Apparently, at one point, Crystal just kind of laid off the entire team. And then the co-owners with Terry Falls basically reincorporated the studio as an independent studio in 2002, which is around the time the iconic Toys for Bob logo was first introduced. And they signed a publishing deal with Activision, who would then later buy them in 2005. And the rest is kind of history from there.
Yes, then they kind of gained the reputation that they have today.
But before we get into that, we should talk about their early years. And they made a lot of games that a lot of people wouldn't know was actually them, because in their early days, they were never really credited for anything.
Yeah, very much a ghost dev. Is that the term we would use? I mean, I know there's like ghost writers in music, but I don't know if if that term would apply to video
I don't
games, like a
I
ghost
don't
studio.
I don't really know. I guess so, because they're kind of like Toze, like because Toze develops a ton of games, but they're
But
never credited.
but Toze still does that. Like Toys for Bob isn't that anymore.
True. I mean, Toys for Bob
Yeah.
has stepped on their own these days.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, Toze, like their list of credits are long and wide, and it's so weird that they like don't get much credit for anything they do, which I don't quite understand why, but you know, their most recent thing Toze's did, as far as I know, is that Dragon Quest Monsters game on Switch.
mm,
So, which I heard was fine, but I haven't played it yet.
yeah. So going back now to Toys for Bob, their first game was a little game called Star Control.
Yes, a series of games, because there's a sequel that have quite a bit of a following. People really like these games, mainly Star Control 2. Like Star Control 2 is considered like one of the better games, say on the 3DO, because it has a 3DO version. I don't think Star Control 1 has a 3DO port,
No,
but
that
I
was
think it came out. I
mostly.
think it came out before.
It's got a Sega Genesis port.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Fuck yeah, baby.
Yeah, Star Control 2 though, that's where the 3DO connection comes from. Star
Mhm.
Control 2 had a 3DO and an MS-DOS port.
Yes.
And Star Control is interesting because it's kind of like it was heavily inspired by like the extremely classic game Space War.
Isn't that like the first video game ever made?
It's debatable because some would say Tennis for Two was the first video game ever created.
Oh, on the old radar equipment.
Yeah, that's a debated topic, but it's one of the first games ever created.
Like Space War, was that like the first commercially available game?
I don't even know. I don't even think. No, it wasn't even commercially available because it was on the radar equipment. The version that you're thinking of was probably Computer Space, which was Nolan Bushnell's ripoff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the games though themselves, like Star Control, I can see the appeal. I'm not quite sure this is something I would play on my own.
The thing is with the Star Control games is that they are very, very like some other games we've talked about on the show. It's very influential. Like I've played a little bit of Star Control 2, which is available for free on PC under the name, was it the Yurquan Masters, which is the source code for the 3DO version converted to PC. So it is playable on there, and it is a very interesting game. It's one of those games that has a lot of depth to it. Like there's a lot of shit you could do. It's very heavy on like the space exploration, and you could see games like Mass Effect being influenced by it. You know what I mean? Like this is arguably the Mass Effect of its day.
Yeah,
know?
like kind in a similar way because I also thought Wing Commander was very Mass Effect and had a lot of inspiration from Mass Effect as well.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Star Control had some influence on it as well, because it is kind of more open ended, which is what people really like about it.
It's a game that I feel like I would sink a lot of time into, but I'd have to I'd have to have it like put in my face for me to really play it. It's not something I'd go out of my way to play.
I could see that. I mean, one of these days we'll play it on the show.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have to eventually. There was a third game, Star Control 3, but the Toys for Bob was not involved with that at all.
Yeah, it was Legend Entertainment, which I've never heard of them before.
Yeah, never. They don't have a Wikipedia page, so that's. Oh no, they do.
Yeah, I'm looking at their games right now. They did a lot of graphic adventure games, like Mission Critical, Deathgate, Superhero League of Hoboken. That's a great name. Eric the Unready. I love that name.
They were owned by Atari Grams for a while there.
And the last game they are credited with is Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. It was that. Do you remember when the third Terminator movie came out and there was like 3 Terminator 3 games? Like around the same time, there was Rise of the Machines, War of the Machines and the Redemption, and they're all like slightly different.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I remember this game. I used to
yeah,
see
they were.
this on the shelf all the time.
Yeah, they're all published by Atari. That weird era where Atari was really pushing for this kind of stuff.
Atari Grams. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have Indigo Prophecy.
Yes. um. Yeah. So, and then of course, following Star Control, they went and made the Horde, which we've talked about previously.
Quite an interesting game.
Yeah.
I still think about the Horde.
It had potential. It was kind of one of those games that I feel like just time didn't do it any favors.
You know, Night Dive have been doing all these fucking ports and remasters of games, especially like 3DO
PO'd
things.
and Killing Time.
PO'd and Killing Time. They should fucking do the Horde, man.
Have they done non-FPSs?
Maybe. I don't know. Let me check. But that should be their first non-FPS game. If they haven't yet.
Horde.
Damn right. Let's see. First person shooter. They've done a third person adventure game called Noctropolis. Yeah, these are all shooters. Well, is Shadow Man a shooter? Would you call Shadow Man one? Kinda.
Kinda. I mean, isn't it first person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a first person game, so it fits there.
Blade Runner, the point and click adventure Blade Runner game.
Okay.
That was them. So
yeah, there's potential.
Yeah, the potential for sure. So and they're doing the thing, the remaster of that game, which nice. I always thought that game was bad.
Oh, you're in the minority there because a lot of people love that game.
Well, when I discovered that game, it was through the review that Spoony did back in the day. Because I was a big fan of Spoony, Noah Antweiler. And his video was like, this game's fucking dog shit. So I never played it. And the footage he showed, the game looked pretty rough. But with that, but them doing the remaster of it, I may check that out.
It's considered a cult classic, so.
Yeah. So I'll probably give it a try whenever it comes out. Because that's the thing with Night Dive stuff. They announce it, and we're like, when is it coming? And they're like, it's coming. And you just kind of wait.
At least they're not like
PO'd's like PO'd's supposed. Oh yeah, they're better than that. Though they work closely with LGR. But like PO'd it's slated for this year as far as I know. But I don't know. They haven't given a date as far as I know. It's only gonna be $20, and that's not bad. I'll pay $20 for that. Hopefully hopefully it's playable.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit that and then Killing Time. Like that'll probably be when we finally do Killing Time.
Wait. Oh, it's fucking out.
Oh, is it?
The PO'd version, yeah. It's just right there. It came out in May. Shit, I didn't know. So yeah, it's out.
Well, damn.
So eventually we'll this will be on the short list, folks. Well, it's on Steam. I don't know if it's on consoles yet. It probably is on consoles.
We'll probably and
$20 is not a bad price for that.
We'll probably do like a compilation episode at some point where we revisit a couple like games and just give like updates.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can throw a Road Avenger or Road Redemption, whatever it's called, in there.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one to do. Yeah, I will add this to the wish list, my Xbox wish list. See, it's annoying. I don't know if PlayStation's better with this, but I wish I could go through like publisher or developer. Like I could click their name and be like, oh, here's all their games. You know?
Yeah.
Because Xbox doesn't let me do that. I don't know if PlayStation lets you do that.
Yeah, then it's not much better.
Yeah. I think Steam lets you, which I like.
But. Steam's just better at everything, honestly.
How true. I mean, heck, if the next Xbox they let you sideload Steam, hell yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So back to Toys for Bob now. Moving on. Their next game. No worries. Their next game was an interesting game, one that's very well known by a lot of old school platformer fans. Pandemonium.
It's Pandemonium. I've never played this game. I have a feeling I would like it though.
It is very similar to Klonoa.
Oh, then yeah, I'll be fine.
Like it's a 2.5D platformer, but it uses full 3D.
There he is. My boy.
Nice.
Love him.
It's not as charming as Klonoa, but that's
No.
hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like if like Harley Quinn was in a fucking platformer, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
It's a solid game.
It looks like shit. What are those games? The Saturn ones. What, Clockwork Knight?
I think it looks better than Clockwork Knight just because the world's actually kind of, it's not stuck on a purely 2D plane. It kind of does like the Klonoa thing where it like wraps around at times and like.
Yeah. Looking at some screenshots of it. Yeah. I could probably get down with this.
This was actually one of the first real examples of a lot of people believing that Crystal Dynamics made this game, but in reality it was Toys for Bob. But
they published it though.
They did, and this was right at the height of their ownership of Toys for Bob. And Crystal made the sequel, which is where a lot of the confusion comes from.
Weird.
And the sequel, if you look at the cover for that, is like way edgier and like sexified for no reason.
Well, I'm seeing looks like the PAL version of it, and the PAL version looks fine.
Yeah, the main character, they like gave her like a massive fan service upgrade for no reason.
Let's see, is the NTSC version any different? I'm trying to see. No, it's the same one.
Yeah, it's the same cover. They just
I don't think it looks that bad.
No, it doesn't look bad. I'm just saying they like went from
that they gave her some boobs.
They made her like fan servicey for no reason, which I just find amusing.
I mean, to be fair, I think it looks a bit Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
But honestly, I wouldn't have noticed unless you told me. So
it's one of the things I just picked up on because I look at the two, I'm like, wow, this was a very 90s thing.
I mean, it still exists now, but
true,
in different ways.
And then the next game they would make, this game is one I've never played, but I've seen everywhere: The Unholy War.
See, this looks like an RPG, but it's not.
No, it's a fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. This is a game that I've definitely seen, and the stills I've seen of gameplay it looks ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, that cover, like, what is that?
It's an unholy war.
Yeah, but I see like hexagonal grids. So is this like chess combat from Mortal Kombat Deception?
I don't know. I kind of want to buy a copy of this now because I need to know.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll morph this into the PS1 experience, and then we can talk about this random shit.
Yeah, maybe at some point. Yeah. They also made in Japan only this weird anime-looking game.
Let me see if I can say this. Majoko Daisasken Little Witching Mischiefs.
That's really weird to me because Toys for Bob's an American company too. That's an odd choice.
It was published by Bandai, so maybe my guess is it based on an anime? It is.
Yes.
It features magical girl characters from the anime television series produced by Toei Animation from 1966 to 1981. Blah, blah, blah. So maybe Bandai had the rights to it. And we're like, hey, we need somebody to make this game for us. And I mean, Bandai was making games at that point, weren't they?
Yeah, they did the Dragon Ball Final Belt game.
Okay. So I don't know.
Plus the Digimon World games.
Yeah. So I don't know. Weird.
Oh, this is like anime girl. This is Magical Girl Smash Brothers. Because it's a bunch of
sure. So it's fucking up. So it's up your alley, you fucking weeb.
Nah, this doesn't look like something I'd actually play. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you wouldn't admit it in public.
No, I don't know any of these shows. Like literally, I haven't seen any of that. That's funny though. Oh, they also made Disney's 102 Dalmatians: Puppies to the Rescue, a game that me and Alex had as kids.
How is that game?
It's a really solid platformer. That's about all I can say about it.
I mean, that seems to be a running theme with Toys for Bob.
Yeah, because going from here, this is right around the point where we get into their more forgotten period where they just made a bunch of licensed games.
Well, I think this was like the turning point when they realized what their specialty was. Because
Yeah.
really, at this point, it's mostly platformers. Though there are exceptions. Like one game that they made that I played the shit out of as a kid. I don't know about you. Was Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
Mm.
This was them, where they took the engine that was running Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, probably the best of the Pro Skater games. Don't at me. And they remade it so that you could be Buzz Lightyear, fucking grinding in Andy's bedroom. Like hell yeah, man! Like you could be Simba, young Tarzan. The maps were very accurate to the IPs that they were going for. And they had real kids. Like the human kid skaters in the game are like real. Like they're based on like real people, because when you select them, they actually show the kids like doing the skating. Like they had some kind of contest, I think, or like a casting call for the game. And so it's like, oh, do you want to be Buzz Lightyear, Simba, or like Bill? Do you want to be like Dave or some shit? You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm curious to see where these kids are now. I'm surprised none of them have been interviewed about this yet. So, because that's the thing. I mean, unless they're all fucking dead because they're skaters, so it's possible. They're probably not, though. I bet there's got to be a few of them still kicking around.
It amazes me how much like skateboarding was such a thing in the mid 2000s, and now it's like it's still a thing, but not nearly to the extent.
I mean, Tony Hawk really was the tipping point of like making it a mainstream thing. But then but if you notice, as the Tony Hawk games stopped being as good is kind of when people stopped caring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right around when they put Neversoft into Guitar Hero Purgatory.
Yeah, basically. So like once you like American Skateland, I think is the last one people, or American Wasteland is the last one that people in general are like, yeah, that's a good one. Because I remember I remember Project 8 was okay, but I think the issue with Project 8 was it came out when Skate was out, and Skate did a good job of evolving the formula. And Project 8 really, it felt behind the times at that point.
Skate was like just a better skateboarding simulator at the time.
Yeah.
And this is around the time when the Tony Hawk series started adding like Grand Theft Auto elements for no reason.
I mean, it was fine in American Wasteland.
I mean, they did a good job with it. It was just such a weird addition to a skateboarding game.
Yeah. And then I never played Proving Ground, but I haven't heard great things about it.
Speaking of Tony Hawk, Toys for Bob made the Wii version of Downhill Jam.
That they did. I have the GBA version of Downhill Jam, and it is rough. Like, I think I have all the Tony Hawk games for GBA, and
it says a lot
really impressive.
It says a lot that on the Wikipedia page, the only two versions that have anything listed for them are the DS and Wii version.
Though it does say the who did the PS2 and GBA versions, which were more ports, which makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Like the PS2 version is probably just the Wii game ported over, and the GBA version is probably the DS version ported over. So yeah. So Toys for Bob did the main console version, which I've seen footage of, and looks like interesting idea, but not like that's not a whole game. That's just like a mode, you know. And the GBA version, it's surprisingly impressive, like from a technical perspective, but it's not a very good game.
Yeah, I mean, Vicarious Visions were masters of stuff like that, even if the games weren't always great.
Yeah. Or as they're known now, Blizzard Albany.
Ugh. R.I.P. Vicarious.
Gross.
They also made 2 Madagascar games that are, I'm assuming, just okay platformers.
I did play the Madagascar game based on the first movie. I was quite a fan of the original Madagascar movie. I haven't seen it in a very long time. I don't think I've ever seen the sequels. And yeah, that game, I think I ran it on my GameCube a couple times. I remember enjoying it.
Yeah,
it's like a movie tie-in game. It's very much a 7, you know. Like, it's fun. It's nothing amazing, but you'll have a good time with it if you're the right audience.
I think Cat Icarus played it at one point, and he said like it was fine. Like it wasn't amazing, but it was fine.
Yeah. Like if you have a soft spot for licensed games from that era, you'll be like, oh, okay, cool.
Now, following that, we get to quite possibly Toys for Bob's most iconic moment, and that was 2011 with the introduction of Skylanders.
Yeah, fucking Skylanders. Did you
One
ever
of
play Skylanders?
I played a bit of it, not
I've never played like a bit of this. Like I've never played the games. I remember those toys being everywhere,
Mhm.
and I just it might have just been it when it came out. It was like I think I was still in high school, so I was in that like, oh, like who gives a shit about this kitty crap? You know what I
So
mean? Like I just wasn't in the mind to really give it a proper shot.
I have not. I don't own Skylanders, I should say, but I have played it because I was over a friend's house and his little brother had the full setup, and he wanted us to play with him. So we played with him. We played Skylanders, and for what it is, it's fine. It's. I understand why it blew up.
There's I think it was Scott. I think Scott the Woz did like a whole retrospective on Skylanders, which like he's the guy to do that. So I learned a lot from watching his video on it, you know. Not
It,
enough to make me go out of my way and actually give it a shot,
it's just
but
got
enough to
way
be
too
like,
much shit that you have to buy to fucking do it.
yeah, because I remember like it like Lego Dimensions started happening at the same time.
Disney Infinity.
Disney Infinity, which Disney Infinity was the one that probably should have blown up, but it didn't because they kind of fucked themselves on it. But you
Mm.
know, you can read into that if you want. But then weirdly enough, what came out of all this was Amiibo. Like Amiibo was kind of born out of this.
Hmm.
And Amiibo still kind of exists. Like they've never completely gotten rid of it. Though I think the last Amiibo sets they did were for what was the last Amiibo sets they did they do once for Mario Wonder?
Maybe I haven't bought an amiibo, and the last amiibo I bought was the Strife ones for when you got into Smash.
Okay, because I have a hero from Dragon Quest. I have
Oh,
Bayonetta 2.
speaking of amiibos,
What's up?
all my amiibos are back there.
Nice, nice. I don't know if you could see him, but Hero's right there. Right there. And then behind me, behind my head, I have a few more, but not that many. I bought a couple of them I bought like sealed in the box and I just fucking ripped that shit open. Get that shit out of there. Like I have Bayo, I have Chibi Robo. I have the Chibi Robo
Oh,
amiibo.
really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I went on my way to grab that one.
Yeah, that wonderful game. That's probably the best thing to come from that
Oh,
game.
that GameCube game. Yeah, that game's a fucking amazing game, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
It's one of the best games I've ever played.
Um, yeah, yeah. Skylanders is the best way I describe them is they're basically like the Lego games where they're just very simple platformers that are really fun for kids to play.
Yeah.
Um,
But they do the whole like, any NFC and like a little toy figure thing, which I do remember it blowing up and being a very, very big thing. And they had to kind of kill Spyro for it, which is sad.
we should talk about that. Where fucking this game was first announced, because the first one was Skylanders Spyro's Adventure.
Yeah.
Um,
And that hurts, man. That fucking hurts.
it was clearly because I believe there is concept art of the Spyro character in game before he became Spyro, because originally this was an unrelated project apparently.
Yeah, but I think it wasn't Activision who was like, just throw
Yeah.
Spyro in there.
Well, because Spyro had been dead since 2008, I want to say, whenever the third Legends game came out.
It was 2008, and then this was 2011, so it was only a couple years.
Yeah. They needed something to do with Spyro, and this was their idea. I remember the Spyro fans were not happy with this at all. There was quote unquote boycotts, but let's be real, they weren't going to buy this anyways.
No. Though to be fair, of all the designs Spyro's had over the years, the Skylander one is easily the worst one.
Because it wasn't supposed to be Spyro.
Yeah, it looks wrong. Like we could argue about if the Legend of Spyro redesign is any good or not. Like I think it's perfectly fine. Like it's different, but I vibe to it. I mean the original is king,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean what I think one of these days we should one of these days I will play the 3 Legends games and cover them properly. I'll do it for the SuperPod network because I feel like those games get more hate than they deserve, but that'll be for
Yeah.
something different. But yeah, original Spyro's king. So I get why they were mad at the time, but it's like Skylanders wasn't happening because they were like, oh, here's like the perfect Spyro game everybody wants, and they're like crushing it to do this. Like that obviously wasn't happening. So
Yes. What's funny too is though, like because Skylanders ended up being a massive success, like way farther than anyone imagined. Because
yeah,
honestly, this
massive.
was kids eat this shit up. Like,
Oh
um,
yeah. Oh yeah. Like I've never introduced my kid to Skylanders, but I wouldn't be shocked if he kind of liked it, but we're going to avoid that.
but it's not even that it's bad. It's just it's so much plastic just piled up because of how
Yeah.
much you need.
Yeah, he has enough Hot Wheels. He doesn't need any more like plastic crap.
Yeah.
No, but Hot Wheels are cool.
That being said, though, Skylanders is this doesn't like my complaints with the concept have nothing against the actual game itself because I actually do think the games are pretty serviceable for what they are, and they expanded into all sorts of different expansions and like sequels and all sorts of.
There were only 4 Skylanders games.
Mm,
So which is surprising. You think there would have been more. Oh, I think there was actually 6. Never mind. Like there's Spyro's Adventure, Giants, Swap Force, Trap Team, Superchargers, and Imaginators. And Imaginators was the last one. Fuck, there was a Skylanders TV show?
yep.
God damn it.
So Toys for Bob only made 4 of those because I believe Vicarious made the other 2.
I think you're correct on that. And Beanox.
Oh yeah, Beanox, another legendary. Yeah,
Good old fucking Beanox.
they made the B movie game. I guarantee they only got the job because of their name.
Hey, that's all that matters, man.
That game's a piece of joke.
Especially when like yeah, the B movie game was 07, and the only game they did before that was a game called Pillars of Garandal, which is like a fucking PC RPG.
They made up for it making this Crash Nitro Kart remake, though. So, I mean, Crash Team Racing remake. So
Yeah, good for them. And now they're stuck in Call of Duty purgatory.
God fucking damn. Yeah, but I will mention though, Skylanders Imaginators is a bit of an important game before we move on to what they did after, because it notably saw the return of Crash Bandicoot to gaming after his last real appearance had been Mind Over Mutant, which bombed.
Yeah, which I think Mind Over Mutant is considered the better of the 2 reboots.
It is the better game because it actually tries to be a platformer. The problem is though,
and the like mechanics they were trying with like the beat 'em ups and like taking over enemies was like much more refined than from Crash of the Titans.
The story and character designs were just better.
Yeah.
I mean, I still hate Tattoo Crash, but that's besides the point.
I should also cover these 2 games for the
they're fascinating.
Super Pod. Yeah.
But yeah, they brought back Crash and Cortex in Skylanders Imaginators, and it was kind of like a mini Crash game, like where you'd get like the 2 little figures and you get unlock this whole little thing that played just like old Crash, like with pretty decent designs. Like Skylanders Crash isn't a bad design.
Did they make a Crash Skylander figure?
Yes, there was a Crash and a Cortex.
Holy shit, they're expensive.
And they look okay. Like they're not bad designs, like much better than Spyro, but they were actually designed to look like.
I mean, Cortex looks like Cortex, and Crash looks like a redesign, but like one that's closer to what he always looked like.
Yeah, like it's better than the mutant stuff. Not as great as what Vicarious would do with the Insane trilogy, which Toys for Bob did the Switch port of.
Yes, I've been thinking about the Insane trilogy a lot recently, especially when like Xbox just had their big showcase, and they didn't announce any like Game Pass drops, especially with the Activision stuff in it, which I feel like not to get too deep into that showcase, I did like it, but one thing I thought it needed was maybe it felt like it was focused a lot on more like dark kind of serious games, which is fine because
Yeah.
a lot of the games they showed look really good, but I felt like it needed a little break to be like, oh, and launching in the Game Pass like today or this month or whatever. Here's the Crash trilogy, the Spyro trilogy, Crash 4, that like just throw those in the Game Pass,
Mm.
because those should be there right now. Like genuinely they should be. So maybe I mean, and I think those games were added to the PC launcher, the Xbox PC launcher. So they might be hitting Game Pass soon. So hopefully soon, because I've been wanting to replay both Crash and Spyro trilogies, and I've just been kind of waiting for Game Pass to go into them again. So,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, the Insane trilogy is fantastic. I played that on PS4.
Same.
Had a really good time with it. And it was sort of like my first real exposure to Crash. Like I'd never, outside of a little bit of Twinsanity on my PS2 as a kid, I hadn't really touched Crash at all. Like I felt like I just kind of missed the boat on him. So the
They,
Insane trilogy, getting to that was it was a joy to play, because when I got to it, I was like, yeah, I'm in a mindset where I can actually play this and enjoy it. So, and ever since then, I've kind of been wanting to play the entire Crash series.
oh yeah. Now, while they didn't make the Crash Insane trilogy, they did make the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which everyone kind of saw coming.
Yeah, and I've never played the Switch port of the Insane trilogy, so
It's
I don't
fine.
know how good or not good it is, but I
It's
imagine
basically the
it's
same. It's
yeah,
identical.
yeah. They probably just did it because oh yeah, because it came out on PS4 originally by itself, and then I think it was what
Yep.
like a year later it came to everything else.
It had a timed exclusive thing because I mean, let's face it, Crash PlayStation, even though they're not
Yeah,
technically, it's just it made sense.
it fits. Yeah, and what's weird is that yeah, like Vicarious Visions did the PS4 version, and then yeah, Toys for Bob did the Switch version. Iron Galaxy did the PC version, but they don't say who did the Xbox One version. So did Vicarious do that? Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, it's a
Well,
good port regardless. So
it was either them or Iron Galaxy.
it might have been Iron Galaxy because they did PC as well. I mean, PS4
Maybe.
and Xbox One are so close, like comparable, that it probably wasn't that hard of a port.
Yeah. So who knows? But anyways, yeah, Insane Trilogy, fantastic. It was cool to see Vicarious Visions do it, and my guess is Vicarious Visions probably would have done the Spyro trilogy had
They
they
were doing
not
Tony
did it.
Hawk at the time.
Oh yeah, 1 and 2,
Yep.
which people fucking loved. I still haven't played it.
Very good port.
Yeah,
Or remake, I should say.
but wasn't that the last thing they did?
Yeah, before they became Blizzard, whatever. Well, no, they were doing Call of Duty bullshit, and then they got Blizzarded.
Yeah, which is a shame. So that kind of left Toys for Bob open to do the Spyro trilogy.
Which very good job. Like bringing Tom, they brought Tom Kenny back to do the voice, which was interesting because he didn't do Spyro's voice in the original game.
It's a good fit though.
Well, he did Spyro in 2 and 3. The first game, he was voiced by the guy who played Rocco in Rocco's Modern Life,
Nice.
which is hilarious because Tom Kenny played Heifer in Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, that's right, he does.
But they also got Stuart Copeland back. He didn't do the whole soundtrack, but he did the menu theme just as a callback.
And I think they took his original versions and
Yeah,
like
they just
rearranged them or something.
kind of like how they redid Scott Mansell's original Crash scores for the the Insane trilogy. They basically took Stuart Copeland's amazing music from Spyro and just instrumentized it essentially.
Yeah, it says here he's credited with original music, the main theme, and assisted with remastered tracks.
Yes, yep, that's what it was.
So yeah, and yeah, the Spyro Reignited trilogy, that was sort of my first real experience with Spyro as well. Trying to think, a friend of mine gave me his copy of Spyro 2 for PS1 because he was really into it, and I tried playing it, and it just didn't click with me. I had played Hero's Tale at one point and thought it was perfectly fine. But it wasn't until I got this for Switch that I just really got sucked into it and played the fucking shit out of it. Like I completely finished Spyro 1 and 2. I would have completely finished Spyro 3, but I could not beat that pigeon race that was like by like the ships, that
Mm.
one. I couldn't beat it. I couldn't get first place, so I eventually gave up on it. But yeah, it was fantastic, and that's another one that I've been thinking about, as I said with Crash, that I've been thinking about playing again. Just because I think it'd be cool for especially Spyro to go back and try to get all the achievements. I don't know if I do it with Crash because they're probably fucking
You can
ridiculous.
playing Spyro 1 through 3, you really see the early DNA of what would become like Insomniac Games, like just trademark everything essentially.
Yeah, and they aged so well. Like they're still super fucking fun to play. I had a blast with them, and it just and yeah, like I think it was right after this they went into no they didn't do that.
Ratchet and Clank, like right
Yeah,
after. Oh no,
Ratchet and
sorry.
Clank, which kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. You see some DNA between the two of them.
Well, the reason why they went to Ratchet and Clank was famously their reasoning why they moved on was mostly because Spyro didn't have arms and he couldn't hold guns.
I mean, they could have figured that out.
Well, they also didn't own the IP and they wanted to
True.
move on, which is ironic because they didn't even own Ratchet because they Sony owned it. But besides the point.
Yeah, what can you do? And apparently this the remake changed a couple things around.
Yeah, there was a lot of quality of life improvements.
Well, apparently it was let's see, some enemies in the first game wielded semi-automatic weapons that shot bullets. Now they changed what they shot out, like a little substance or whatever. Ripto's Rage had a genie that was named Bombo, but they changed his name to Bob the Flag Keeper.
So it changes. I get
little things.
I get it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, little things that if it came out now, people on Twitter would have fucking lost their shit over it.
I mean, we
and it's
probably
like, who
can go
cares?
back. We can probably go back then, and they probably lost their shit then too. But no one cared at that point.
It's like, yeah, that's nothing. Like the games are still the games. Who fucking cares?
And then the most surprising game they put out after the Reignited trilogy, Crash 4.
It's about time. Yeah, Crash 4. I still have yet to play this game. At this point, I'll just wait till it hits Game Pass because it's going to at some point.
Well, I played the first couple levels and then I put it down because I got sidetracked by something else.
And my one of my buddies at work has played this game. Like I think he got the platinum trophy for it. And
it's when I played the levels, it plays really well, and I thought the level designs were really good. So,
well, what he said about it, and I think I've heard some other people say about this game, if you like just kind of play it kind of casually, just to go through the game and have a good time, it's great. But trying to 100% it is a fucking nightmare.
I mean, to be fair, that's just kind of a Crash Bandicoot staple sometimes.
I'm told it's worse here. Like it's worse than the original games. Like there's just like certain like fruits and certain collectibles and certain things you have to do that are just way too intense, like way too fucking far. Like they kind of leaned way too much into that from what I've been told. So
well,
just keep that in mind. Maybe somebody will let us know in the Discord. But from what I'm told, 100%ing the game is a fucking nightmare, and don't do it. But if you play the game just to play the game, it's a good time.
That's probably what I'll do. I'll just have fun.
Yeah, and I think probably some people would say this is Toys for Bob's. Toys for Bob's, like their crowning achievement is probably this game.
Honestly, yeah, because after this, they went through Call of Duty Hell. They did make Crash Team Rumble, which is fine.
I haven't played it. I don't know if I have any interest, even though I think now the whole thing is free, so I could just download and fuck around with it if I wanted to.
I played a little bit of it. It's fine for what it is. It's a little fun, little party waste time kind of game.
Isn't it a MOBA?
Maybe. I think so.
I don't know.
It's kind of like a battle royale-ish kind of game, sort of.
And it has I think Spyro's in it as well.
I think so. I just mostly remember playing it, and it played fine, and it was fun for like an hour before I moved on to something else.
Yeah. I mean, maybe one of these days we'll both download it and mess around with it, because if I remember correctly, when Toys for Bob went independent, they basically like support got shut down for it, but all the unlockable stuff was just made free. Like they just hit the switch that's like, oh, it's free. Just go in and have fun with it.
They probably didn't tell Activision about that either. They probably just did it and left.
Yeah, yeah. And apparently, going back to Crash 4, there's a really there's a little Easter egg in there in like the dialogue where it's like some characters are talking and they're like, "Oh, we gotta like this is this is the fourth time we've had to deal with Cortex or whatever or something." And somebody's like, "Really, only 4? Feels like it's been more than that." They're like, "No, no, this is the fourth time." Like, are you sure? I feel like we've done this more than 4 times.
Well, because Wrath of Cortex was famously known as Crash 4 in Japan. So,
well, the joke is it's called Crash 4, but there's been so many games past 3. Come on, dude.
Twinsanity was Crash 5. So,
yeah, yeah, way to kill the fucking joke. Anyways, yeah, Crash 4, cool. I'll play it one of these days, but from what I hear, it didn't sell super well. Or according to Activision, it didn't sell well. But I'm sure it sold fine.
Prototype didn't sell well either, apparently. And that I looked at the numbers and it was pretty good. So,
let me see if I can get numbers for Crash 4 sales because for crazily enough, the Spyro trilogy, I think its sales are like over 10 million, which is fucking great for that. I don't know what the Insane trilogy has sold. It has sold over 10 million as well. And the Crash 4 sales are 5 million.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good. That's pretty fucking good.
For Activision standards, though, that's probably unacceptable.
Yeah, which is kind of why Toys for Bob got sucked in, as you said, the Call of Duty hell, helping out on Warzone, helping out on the Modern Warfare 2 and 3 reboots, which feels like such a waste of Toys for Bob. Like, that's not what they do, man. Like, I'm sure whatever work they did on there was fine, but like, it's not what they do, man. Like, it's clear they had, they have their little niche, and they need to be properly filling that niche, which rolls into what they're doing now, which seems to be filling that niche, where in the Activision Blizzard merger with Microsoft, they have decided to break free and become independent, which is interesting that they've done this, I think.
I'm surprised only they did. Like, there must have been a clause or something.
Or maybe they were the only team that kind of wanted to break away. Maybe because let's say when this happened, right? When the merger was happening, maybe Toys for Bob were thinking like, oh, maybe we can, get out of this and get to, say, Spyro 4, right? And they were kind of hoping that, they could talk to Phil and like the Microsoft execs and maybe get them to do it while they're still within Activision. But if I remember correctly, Phil said that Activision would kind of just run as it was, that they weren't going to be too hands-on with it. I think they are.
Other than getting rid of Bobby Kotick as soon as possible.
Yeah, which I think he's out of there now.
Yeah, he's long gone.
So, I mean, who knows? Maybe him leaving will change how they operate. I don't know. I'm hoping Microsoft can influence them to do more than just Call of Duty. But maybe like Toys for Bob, maybe they couldn't promise they would do like, say, Spyro 4, because I think people think that's what they're working on now. So they're just like, oh, then, can we go independent? And I think Microsoft, they asked to go independent after the merger because I think they knew Activision wouldn't let them do it. But I'm sure they were like, oh, Microsoft will probably let us. And they're like, yeah, sure. So they have now gone independent. They are now their own company. And they have announced a partnership with Xbox Game Studios for their next project, which, again, I think people thought was weird. But I think the idea is they did that so they could remain doing 3D platformers. Because that seems to be the lane that they've found themselves in. They're comfortable in it. They've been cooking, especially with Crash 4 reviewing really well and people really liking it. So it just makes sense for them to stay in that lane,
Yeah.
And from what I know, the posts that they've made about like the new stuff that they're doing is hinting at it being Spyro 4, which makes sense. It feels like that's the next logical thing for them to do is Spyro 4. I think they've also said they're working on a new IP as well, that they have like a brand new idea.
I'd like them to do something original because the last original thing they did was the unholy war. Now that I think, well, unless you
Yeah.
count Skylanders as original, it basically is. I mean,
Yeah. But like if they're sort of the resident home for say the Crash and Spyro series right now, say like Microsoft contracts them to do it in almost like a like an intelligent systems way, right?
Yeah.
Like if that's what they do, like kind of on the side while they work on other things, I think that's fine. That's good. Them making a new IP, it'll be curious to see what that is. And also the never ending rumor of them making Banjo-Kazooie, because it makes too much goddamn sense.
It makes too much sense. There's not a lot of there's not as much traction for that one as there is for Spyro, but hey, you never know.
Though I feel like Microsoft doesn't understand that, say they said to Toys for Bob, like, hey, let's remake the original Banjo-Kazooie, which apparently a remake of the original has been in the work, or at least has been an idea since the 360 days. Say Toys for Bob wants to do it, Microsoft lets them do it, and then when they eventually unveil that at like a Xbox Game Showcase or whatever, I don't think they realize the very positive reception they will get for that, because people still love Banjo to death. Like, it's not a mainstream property at all, but it has its die-hard fans.
Oh yeah,
like people who are still waiting for it, and if it happens, that like people will be very, very excited for that. I mean, hell, I'll probably play it. So
yeah.
So it's something that they probably should be considering, because if they have Toys for Bob, maybe not completely, but enough to where they can contract them to do, say, Crash and Spyro, that should be something that's on their whiteboard of ideas. Banjo-Kazooie remake. Why not?
Well, I mean,
it doesn't have to be 3E. Let's not get crazy here. But
yeah, I mean, you think about it, like, out of all the big name platformer developers out there right now, most of them are kind of strangleheld by Sony and Nintendo.
Toys for how Bob, many platformer studios are there?
There's not a lot left. I mean, like
there's like the internal Nintendo teams that do Mario. There's who's doing the Astro game? Team Asobi.
It's
Team Asobi.
Insomniac is still technically
Insomniac, kinda.
I mean, they're gonna do another Ratchet at some point.
Oh yeah, as they always do. Toys for Bob. And then outside of that, there's some indie studios. The team that did Penny's Big Breakaway, which was a great game. But but I don't know if I would put them with like the big boys. A Sonic team. Technically, sure. I mean, Sonic games are platformers.
They are. They haven't made it. Well, no, they've
Frontiers is good.
They've been on a good track record lately. Actually,
yeah, so. You're just too clouded by this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's. I mean,
I forgot Frontiers was a thing. I was thinking Forces.
I mean, is there a platform team in Namco? Probably not.
I mean, there's probably.
They did that Pac-Man World remake, but I don't know if that would count.
I doubt they actually made that. I'm pretty sure. I bet they farmed it out.
Nah, I believe they probably did that. Let's find out real quick. Here, you talk and I'll find out.
Other than that, I mean, Microsoft technically has Rare, although Rare hasn't made a platformer in over a decade. A long
what
time.
The hell is Everwild?
Never heard of them.
Well, that's the game they're working on.
Oh, Rare?
Yeah, Everwild.
Oh, I thought you. For some reason, I thought you meant that was the studio that made the Pac-Man remake.
No, a company called Now Production.
Never heard of them.
They've been around since 1986.
Good for them. No, I remember the trailer for Everwild.
They did the Xbox port of Sonic Riders.
Yay!
They made a Beautiful Katamari on 360.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they made Mario Super Sluggers for Wii.
They must be one of those random studios that just make shit.
Yeah. Oh, they did We Love Katamari, the second one. Oh, and they also did the first 3 Katamari games. That was them.
Oh.
So the good ones.
Who made the 4th one?
I don't fucking know.
The 4th one isn't bad. Katamari Forever.
Well, there's Me and My Katamari. I love Katamari. Oh, that was the mobile one. Yeah, Me and My Katamari. The PSP one is just credited to Namco. Oh, Forever. The PS3 one is Genki.
Oh, yeah, Genkai is a good studio. They made a good
Genkai. Yeah,
Genkai, whatever.
yeah. Their logo looks like I drew
Hell yeah.
it.
Um,
Spectrobes Origins. Fucking god damn it.
yeah. Honestly, though, Toys for Bob, one of
Love 'em.
probably
Love them.
they looking back at it, like they made some really good games, and they don't get the love that they deserve.
I agree.
Like they're almost an underrated legend of the industry.
Yeah, though I think they've been really getting their just due now, especially with them sort of reviving the Crash and Spyro series and having them kind of like better than they've ever been.
Yeah.
So that's really been good for them. So, and with this, them going independent, but probably still being allowed to work on those series and potentially revive some older ones or even make some new stuff, like the future for them seems very bright. So as long as they're able to handle being independent, which can very well be a challenge, they should be good. I mean, apparently Phil Spencer has expressed interest in wanting Toys for Bob to do more of this stuff. So even if they're independent, he can still talk to them about it, right?
Yeah.
And apparently Bobby Kotick wanted to revive Skylanders,
Of course he did.
which I feel like I don't think you could get away with that now. Like I still hear people talk about maybe them reviving Guitar Hero. I think it could be done in a very specific way. But that's another podcast. And then Toys for Bob did get some layoffs during earlier this before they went independent. They did get some layoffs. So they're in a weird they're in a very interesting spot where they could be cooking something really cool, something really fucking awesome. So we shall see what happens.
Yeah.
But I look forward to it.
It's definitely they're definitely in a better spot now than they possibly were a few years ago. And honestly, I think the future's bright for them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a chance that we might see what they're working on at next year's Xbox showcase. Maybe. It depends on how fast they work. And how big of a scope, say, a Spyro 4 would be. But I feel like that's a game they could probably turn around in a couple years.
Yeah.
Honestly. This ain't Perfect Dark.
No. Or Metroid Prime 4, which apparently does exist.
Though I will say, Perfect Dark looks fucking awesome.
It does.
Like I didn't expect it to look that fucking cool. So
Crystal knows what they're doing.
Not going to give the Initiative any credit.
I mean, they make decent games, yes, but
the Initiative this is their first game.
Oh, I know. I'm thinking of the Coalition. Never mind.
Yeah, no, Coalition. That Gears trailer, I kind of lost it. So, because I did not expect a E-Day prequel.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm actually I'm currently budgeting for an Xbox Series X. So,
well, I have a feeling Emergence Day, like why they're doing this now instead of Gears 6, like a direct sequel, because Gears 5 ends on a cliffhanger, is maybe they're doing this because something from Emergence Day, story-wise, will play into Gears 6. So they want to be like, let us know what happened so it can connect, maybe. So who knows? And also, it could be that the DLC for Gears 5, Gears Hive Busters, was very, very well received. And it is a fantastic little campaign that reminds you of kind of the earlier Gears games. So maybe Coalition's like, fuck it, let's just make let's do the Emergence Day game everybody's wanted. Like everybody's wanted a game about this, like when the Locusts properly show up. So fuck it, let's do it. So and for those listening, if you want to know my opinions on the Gears of War series, if you check out our sister show, A Novel Console, Me and Chris did a little mini series where we co-opt the entire series, and you can hear our thoughts there.
I always forget we're a big family now, all in
Yes,
our super pod network.
yes. So go listen to those because my opinions on them still stand. My favorite Xbox franchise.
Not totally. But yeah, so next time, guys, barring that we get enough time to play them, we're going to be talking about Psychic Detective. If not, we might think of another filler in between, but
Potentially, we'll
The
see
pl-
what happens.
yeah, the plan is Psychic Detective next. If not, then we'll get to it. It's the next game for sure. But
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know how long the game is. So
yeah, it's 4 discs, but I'm pretty sure that's mostly just because it's full motion video. So,
yeah, let's
but
see.
oh yeah, how long to beat is the thing?
It has it at 2 hours.
Oh, that's nothing.
oh
That's
yeah,
nothing.
oh yeah, we can knock this fucker out. Yeah. For some reason, the PlayStation version is super expensive, and the 3DO version is the cheaper one.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how that happened, but
maybe a low print run.
potentially.
But yeah, so once again, guys, thanks for joining us on the 3DO Experience. The 3DO Experience can be found on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can also find our episodes on YouTube with video versions. And with that, you can also find all of us at the SuperPod Network, a growing community of podcasters. You find other great shows there like SuperPod Saga, Retro Rehab, Super Ghost Radio, Fine Time, Gaming Together, Novel Console, just name a few. Shout out to also all the other guys. I'm brain farting on at the moment.
And shout out to the blog section, which I intend to write some more stuff in the coming weeks. I have some ideas for some things I would like to cover in there. Maybe some more detailed game reviews, or maybe just some like side stuff that I'm thinking of. So I might be contributing a little bit more to the blog in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that, kids.
Yeah. And you can also find all of our links at linktree/the Barber Who Games. And you can also join the GNC Podcast Network Discord server if you want to just see information on like Geek Addicts, GNC, 3DO, stuff like that. And with that, everybody, we will see you all later.
Bye bye.